may be asking, why? Okay, practice for a long time and doesn't earn any progress. Some may thought that they repeating themselves in the same place. Practice is only darkness. Practice only still. Practice no light, no brightness, nothing. Just repeating on the same place all the time. How can we fix this? Or am I just moving backward? Doesn't progress at all? That's today continue from our previous session. I'm not sure you have studied or checked on our YouTube yet. Well, I will mention that since now it's only gone about half of it, almost half of it. But therefore, continue from that. You can also check that, but I will give it the review go over that as well. Okay. Now let's take a look. Give me a few moments. Here we go. Sharing screen. Having this one. All right. Oh, I didn't make this. Just one moment, everyone. Let me see. Okay. This one is. Oh well, just share screen with this then. Never mind that. All right. Can you see like this, everyone? Okay. Okay. Can you see it? A full screen? All right. Okay. While practicing meditation for a long time and doesn't seem to progress. Or another topic that what we call be righteous in conduct or practice righteous in conduct. These are what I had been taught in last month in special session, but the time is quite limited, therefore I didn't finish it. And some of us who are already watching it may have already learned. But for those of you who have not, let me go over real quick. Okay, this one, be righteous in conduct. First of all, we understand about ourselves that we are having not just only the body, but we also have the mind. But most of us living our life by taking only focus on the body. Therefore, we forgot the mind. And sometimes they even forget about this part. Therefore, they only never find happiness that will be fulfilled or making them feel content. But those who begin to realize, begin to pay attention or focus onto the mind, taking care of the body at the same time, sometimes they would not feel that they are satisfied yet, or they are not really there as they expect. Some don't even realize that they progressed, but they want to progress, but how? Here today. As for the story goes with Milakka-Tissa Thera, well, Venerable Milakka was a hunter. Yes, you may have heard about this before. One day he went to hunt animals in the forest like usual. But because of his bad karma that he had done so many days, so through it, so many years, not days, and he unable to see the water that been serviced in the temple. So he make a noise that, what did the monk in this temple do? Can they even service the water for the people that came across? But as it is, the monk coming out and service him, but he just, after he has drink enough water, like you see in the picture, the monk asked him, do you know what does this mean? What kind of sin that you have made? Unable to see the water, I have to pour the water for you, otherwise you won't be able to drink it. The man realized of his bad karma that he had done. He feel grief, so that's he went home, tell all his wife and children that he would like to ordain. Since they all have grown enough, they can live without him. So after he ordained, the monk taught him meditation, and he did practice, but he didn't progress. All of the bad karma that he had done, like slaughtering animals, all of these so many years, every single day, it just haunted him, unable to progress. But as he practiced, making more commitment day by day, finally, he able to attain enlightenment as well. That's the short story in version. You can check on the video on in the long one. Okay. Now after that, what he has realized that by practice meditation, not only just the mind, but the body as well, because by practice Dhamma, the Dhamma itself, it has so many meaning, but by what we are learning in here, right? Be righteous in conduct is practice of good deeds regularly, because practice Dhamma, you can't just do in one day, and you can't just do in one time. It requires consistently, just like meditation. Therefore, you need to also practice in body in order to help maintain your focus on the mind. For example, when you practice meditation, after you finish your meditation, if you do not maintain your mind inside, next time you're going to have to start over again. But it could be quicker, depending on how you practice consistently. But if you, in this case, practice meditation all the time while you are open your eyes, for example, maintain your mindfulness inside. Next time when you come meditate, it even better because your mind practice all the time. Then it could fasting the process of meditation progress. Okay. Now, by practice this, okay, this one doesn't need to go over because it's been already mentioning. But here, by practice righteous in conduct, there are 10 that allow you to fulfill your body, that affect and result in your mind. They are 1. Absolutely not killing. In by practice the 5 precepts or practice sila, it means that abstention. Abstention means when there is a chance for you to do something, you will avoid, and making yourself commitment not to do it by having this observed sila. But by practice yourself 10 wholesomeness, the 10 path of wholesomeness, it won't be like that. It will be that whenever you practice, you make commitment that you don't make commitment. It just like become your normal part of your life. In your commitment that you would not kill, you would not steal, you will not commit adultery, you will not telling lies or gossiping about something that doesn't benefit you and others, or you don't using speaking harshly that hurt other feelings, or doesn't idle chatting. This is a commitment that will making yourself absolutely not committing any of these kind. That's why practice all of this. It will result your meditation progress to be maintained stable. But this is just only the minimum requirement. Okay. Absolutely not thinking of possessions, taking possessions of others. Absolutely removing yourself from vengefulness and absolutely possessions of the right view. I think we already mentioned about the right view in the previous session, so I will not go over on this. But the fact is that by practice number 1 to 7 would allow you to be maintained number 8, 9, and 10, as mentioned in here. These are, for those who like to progress in meditation, these are the minimum baseline. These are the practice that higher than observing precept or sila, because it becomes norm to your standard living. Those who practice this, and without having this, one would not able to progress in meditation. By practicing it, the minimum base that you experience right now is relax, time fly by very fast, or inner light of brightness inside. These are what you normally achieve. But once you quit practice meditation, all of it is gone because it doesn't maintain in that state of mind. But if you practice and make commitment by not doing those that mentioned, it will allow you to maintain that level. So next time when you meditate, it would not be disturbed by external event that may have came across in your life. Now, furthermore, now this part that has not been mentioned in the previous video is, whoa, Venerable, is it possible to do something like this? Because what you are mentioning, it seems like, it's in an ideal world. It's not really practicing at this time. It's not easy to achieve. I agree. I even had that kind of doubt myself. Whoa, my life is not only just meditation alone, Yeah, so that's the question come. Is it possible to practice in the present day? So many things to are tempting us to do many committing evil deeds. Well, there are steps in here. First, if you are like or wanted to practice, one, you must first select your livelihood, select your occupation. That's the baseline. Because when you make a living, if you're living or making your livelihood that involve like killing, stealing, or committing sexual misconduct or telling lies, this you will not be able to run away. And that's if you're selecting one now, or if you are already retired, that is even better because you will not be worried about such matter. But if you still have to make a living, how? Choose occupation that will not making yourself committing this sin or involving with that. There are 5 kinds of occupation that the Buddha suggests to avoid or never involve. 1. Trading in human, like slavery, prostitution. 2. Trading weapons. 3. Trading drugs. 4. Trading poison. 5. Trading animals for slaughtering. Right. You're trading cows, trading animal for, people buying them to kill, something like that. It is something that should not use. You're living on someone else's life. That's what the Buddha or my master used to teach, that those are not something that one should do. Everyone loves their own life. Do not use their life to make yourself a living. Thus, you make yourself suffer the consequence in the future. 2. Never to repeat yourself that kind of mistake again. It is something. And also, number 3, avoid bias. Yes, when we are living with many people, there are bias that could also causing us. For example, if you are living with a big family, you have brother and sister, especially if you are adult or if you are parents, if you're favoring one of your child than the others, it won't be pretty, right? Therefore, it need to be fair. Thus, avoid being biased. And there are 4 kinds of bias. 1, bias because of love, bias because of hatred or anger, bias because of fear. Fear of what? Fear of that consequence. If you are fear someone, for example, you are working with your boss and your boss doing something wrong and you want to gain the favor, so you take side with your boss who is in the wrong. This is your bias because of fear that he might do something to you or afraid of something gonna happen to you. And last but not least, bias because of ignorance. You don't have enough information to make a judgment. Therefore, you have a wrong decision. These are the bias. Therefore, there is something that need to avoid as well. And 4, meditate regularly, which I am sure you have done that. I've seen some of us who already joined the inner peace daily all the time. Therefore, that is something that is kind of like your regular time of practice now, right? Now, when you learn on this, I am sure you can practice now, not only just meditation time, but outside of your meditation session as well. Now, what would be the reason for having difficult time to practice this kind of Dhamma practice that mentioned? Well, first, for those who are having low moral or willpower, sometimes you know that it is good, but you don't have motivation, just like me in the past. I know that meditation is good, but I don't want to meditate. Do you have that kind of feeling? I do. I admit it. So that's when you have this kind of moral or willpower to do it. You can doing so, practice consistently by stay close to those who are more wise or more diligent, who are able to help you or encourage you, or being a good friend that give you advice whenever you have trouble. When you have such low willpower or low moral, associate with someone who can help, who can give you guidance and suggest. And the second factor that could make you giving up is you living in the bad environment or surrounding. Imagine you are a person who are righteous in conduct. You never telling lies. You never stealing anything from anyone. But, well, your friends and all surrounding are all the opposite to you. What can you do then in this case? Right, everyone? Therefore, if you are living in surrounding in a bad environment, if you cannot move, you cannot change this. At the very least, don't give up. Try to do as much as you can. There is one in the past. One person came to ask my master that he was a police. He is a police or soldier. I'm not sure exactly. And he liked to observe the precepts. But he can because it's his occupation. When he caught the criminal or the bad guys, he would sometimes have to do hurting others or, forcing them to tell the truth. It is something that cannot observe lightly. So my master advised him that at the very least, once a week, can you not doing this? He said, yes, once a week he can. Well, in every once a week, try one day not to break any of these precepts. At the very least, that can ease your bad karma, because even if you have done wrong, but at least there is one thing that you, or one opportunity that you didn't do it. At the very least, that will be giving the fruit to make you having less punishment or lesser the consequence that may affect your future. If you are having that, so at the very least, try to do that. Okay. Thai people in the past or Buddhist culture, what they do is whenever they have full moon or once a week, they observe 8 precepts. So that's whenever it's a full moon or when it is the holy, they call this Buddhist holiday that happen once a week. They would not sell meat. They would not do any kind of bad deed that would affect their mind. That even issue the rules in there in some country. Therefore, that's what they do. But anyway, I'm not sure if they still practice in Thailand. But in my experience, I went to Sri Lanka once. That will be about 8 or 7 years ago. They did. Every once a week, they stop the butcher shop or they observe precepts and they come to the temple. Okay. Now, what is the higher pure practice or higher conduct? Well, behaving in accordance with purity, particularly in decision making, Does allow the defilements and temptation to interfere with that what we know is good and fair. Well, this higher practice is mean that when you are practiced as a baseline now, going higher is more focused on the mind, not just the body like we have just learned. Because when the body are in pure in conduct, it raises the spirituality of the mind to be more refined. When it's more refined, you're practicing higher in more concentration of your meditation. That's allow the mind to be more pure. When it's more pure, thus your mind will be easier to refrain from being biased. And even better is you will not involve yourself with the 6 road to ruins. Maybe we talk about this next week, about the 6 road to ruins. That maybe, I'm sure you already came across or learned about it sometime in my Buddhist knowledge or what I mentioned taught in the previous class, but maybe go in detail on that maybe. And fulfilling your duty on the 6 directions. This is what we're going to talk about that maybe next week, the Buddhist wisdom, Buddhist knowledge, okay? So these are the 3 things that can practice in highers. Avoid bias, avoid 6 road to ruin, and responsibility in the 6 direction. Thus, maybe I think it's time. Thus, in here, maybe save it for next week about talking on this because it's quite long, because we need to go from basic on this. But either way, this could give higher idea about the pure conduct, because all the pure conduct are just one thing. Before we part today, there is one story. There were one monks who ordained having a good cause, like to follow the Buddha to purify his mind and enter nirvana. But once he began to ordain, before he ordained, he learned a lot from his teaching monk about the rules and things. Then when he became a Buddhist monk, he could not focus. He worried that he might make breaking his precept. One day he went to the Buddha and said, "My Lord, I like to disrobe. I cannot stay in the monkhood." The Buddha asked him, "Why do you think like that? What you are now are practice what the Buddhists call as the holy life. Why do you want to go back to the unholy life again?" So the monk told him that, "My Lord, there are so many rules for the Buddhist monk. I am unable to follow. I'm afraid I'm not going to be pure in conduct. Thus, I won't be able to achieve enlightenment just like you and the other monks do." "All right, monks, how about this? Forget about those rules. I give you permission. But can you observe one thing?" "One thing? Yes. Yes, that I can do. Just only one thing. Observe your mind, monk. Beware of your mind at all times. If you can do this, you will be just fine." So when the monk realized that he don't have to observe all the rules that had been laid down by the Buddha, actually there were like 227 precepts. So just one rule, taking care of his mind, not to go doing all evil deeds. That's fine, I can do that. So when he observed his mind, not to let his mind slip out of his body and do all the negativity, soon he came to the Buddha and attained enlightenment. That's everyone. All of the practice, all of the teachings, all of the things that you had learned are just only one thing. Observe your mind, not to let it fill with negativity again. If you can do that much, you will be able to achieve success just like the monk that I mentioned. So that's everyone. Hopefully what you learned today will be benefit. And I think I better getting on focus now that since I am not sure I'm going to be able to fly anymore. Thus, I have more time to focus now. Since the whole week I've been try to, busy myself with